Hello everybody, my name is Bobster1984 and I'm back again. I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different from anything I've ever done on my channel. It's going to be sort of vlog-like, and as you can tell by the title, it is regarding my recent driving test. Now this was my first attempt at passing the driving test, and unfortunately I did fail. My whole experience of learning to drive has been a bit of a weird one because I'm not the youngest person to go and attempt the driving test. I'm 31, as my, Bobster1984 kind of gives away the year I was born. But yeah, I did have no interest in driving at all when I turned 17. A lot of my friends were all jumping straight in, getting their lessons on their birthday, and their 17th birthday, and it just didn't appeal to me. It wasn't ever something I ever really felt like I needed to do. I always lived in where I live, obviously in Newcastle city centre. There's great transport links, and I used to live at the time about a half an hour train ride from where I work. And now where I literally live within a mile walking distance from work, so I've never really needed to actually drive. But since time has obviously went on, and this year, obviously, if you've followed my channel, you'll obviously have known that I have this year got engaged to my partner, and obviously I do live with my partner as well. So she drives, and for the future, discussing that big thing about your future and stuff like that. Driving really is something that would be helpful to the both of us. So she decided that last Christmas to get me some driving lessons, and we went from there. So it took us from January up until last week to obviously take my test. So that's a good 9 months worth of lessons. It took me about 25 lessons. I've got no shame in admitting it probably took me a lot more lessons than some people, but it doesn't matter. It's what actually suited me, and actually how I learned to drive, and then how quickly I picked it up. Don't really care if it took you 10 lessons or if it took somebody else 35. It took me 25 and I still didn't pass. Anyway, my experience with the actual driving test. Now I'm putting this video on just in case anybody has actually got that test coming up and is searching for some advice on what to do on the day. So I'm just going to give my opinions and what I actually did and how I came across and how I felt the whole experience went. So my test, I didn't really have any control on on what time to book it, because the driving test centre next to me has actually got a waiting list of about 12 weeks. So it was a case of just purchasing my test and actually just booking it and just waiting for somebody to give me a slot. And the slot I got happened to be at 9:17 in the morning. So you get into the car, obviously with your instructor. He picked me up about 8:15 in the morning. We went for a bit of a drive, and we did everything. Went over all of the show and tell questions, which I'll get into in a bit, and we checked the car, we checked the tyre pressures and things like that. Everything was hunky-dory in the car. When we get to the driving test centre, obviously you've got to get there about 5-10 minutes early. We got in, and basically I literally hadn't sat down, and this guy came out and asked if it was me, and I said yes, and got to sign a form, and that was it. I was away, going over to my instructor's car, and we're doing the age old read the registration plate across the road. If I don't have my glasses, I do wear glasses for long sight, so if I didn't have my glasses on, I would be screwed. Obviously I had my glasses on. That was fine. The show and tell questions, I actually got both of mine asked in the car. Didn't actually have to go into the bonnet or anything like that. So my two questions were both about what to do on the dashboard and how to show him how to do things. So mine were, how would I check to see if the brake was working properly, and how would I show him to go from beam dipped headlights to high beam and things like that, and when would I need to do that. So they were two relatively easy questions, and we start the test. He says, when you're ready, make yourself comfortable, get to the end of the road and turn right. it just so happens they were doing some digging and some roadworks on that road. So I was sat waiting for about 3 or 4 minutes, as you can imagine. Or, you know, is this going to fail me test straight away? Thankfully it didn't. But we get somewhere on my way. So we're driving down, we get into a dual carriageway, and we're on there for about one junction. It wasn't very long, but we managed to get off, and he obviously directed us, and this was part of the independent driving section, which lasted about 10 minutes, and he just basically said, I want you to get us to a place known locally here in Newcastle as Fordham, so it wasn't too far away from the centre. But it involved a couple of turns and a couple of roundabouts, and it was a case of, you know, trying to remember what he said. But don't fluster yourself if you thinking to yourself you're going to forget all the information he asks you to do. You know, you will get a chance to just say, can you just, you know, tell us where you wanted to go again, or was it left or right down here? He will say, he's not going to just say, oh no, you know, just you know, try and find your own way there, and obviously he's not going to watch you go the complete wrong way. So we get to one of these residential areas where obviously it was time to do the manoeuvre, and the manoeuvre that I got picked was the sharp left turn, reverse turn. Now it was the only one that I hadn't practiced in my last driving lesson, but I managed to do it all right. I was about a metre away from the curb at all times, which is fine. And if anything more, probably would have been a bit of a maybe a minor, I've got told, but I did okay. And then we take off, and he says, right, can you turn right at the end of this road? And it gets to a T-junction. Now this is where I failed my test. The left-hand side is covered by it's like a garden wall, but I had a good view of the road up that side. The right-hand side, again, a garden wall, but there was a van in my way here. So I couldn't see over the van, and I couldn't see what was coming. So I had to lean over and look at the top of the van to see the roofs of the cars coming from the right. There was a gap of about 10 seconds coming from the right of no cars, and I thought, oh, good chance here. Nothing coming from the left. I'd edged out as far as I possibly could get out, and I get around the corner, and there's a silver Peugeot just coming along about 15 metres along the road, slows down by about 5 miles an hour, and I knew straight away that could be a potential minor. I wasn't in the world expecting it to be a fail, but anyway, I drove off. Didn't let it get me down. I just concentrated on what he was asking us to do. You know, it was a case of, you know, pull up here, turn left or right, and it was fairly easy. It was stress free. You know, I was finding the test to be a lot stress free compared to what I was expecting. And I got to the point where he was asking us about what job I did and things like that, and I thought, you know, this is really calming us down. So yeah, my advice to anyone is don't stress too much about it. It really wasn't too bad. And anyway, we gets back to the test centre, and I'm thinking, oh, I've done all right here. And he says, right, just make yourself comfortable. I'm going to be doing filling the form in, and then he tells us I failed. So sorry. So when I've thought about it, yeah, it was probably a fail, but I think it is a harsh fail. And what I'm trying to do, and the whole point of me doing this video is, you know, if you do something during a driving test and you think, oh, you know, that I could have failed for that, just put it at the back of your mind if you can, and focus on what the examiner's asking you to do for the rest of the test, because, you know, you might not have failed, and there might be something that comes up later on that you'll fail on because you're not concentrating fully. I tried to take the test on as if it was just a normal lesson, and it worked for me because it wasn't that stressful, and I know what I failed on, and I know what I can do to make that better. And I've booked my test again, actually, so it's going to be in another couple of weeks, so hopefully I'll be doing a video with a geek little certificate like this. Look at me, I've passed my test. But that's just hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But this is just, as I say, my first blog style video on my experience about my driving test. And ignore the hair. I know it's long, I know I look like a complete tit, but it will be getting cut at some point this week. But yeah, my name is Bobster1984. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.